Hi there everyone, it's Owen Shimuka here, and before we get into the music today, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Around this time last year, I made the decision to start creating content on YouTube regularly, and I remember clearly getting a piece of paper and pen and writing a very clear goal. I said to myself, if by December 2025, if I can just get at least 2,500 subscribers, then I've made it, my goal's achieved. And I cannot believe it today that it is December 2025 and I'm currently sitting at 19,500 subscribers. Now that's something that I wouldn't have even imagined this time last year. So I just want to say thank you, because without you guys, this would not have been possible. So this year alone, I managed to fulfill a lifelong dream, which has been to teach music online, and not just online, but to people from all parts of the world. So this year alone, I've been able to successfully run 2 90-day programs. I've met 19 students, and they're all from different parts of the world, which is really great. And it's been quite a joy to see the transformation in their playing, to see the mindset shifts, and also to just see people achieving or fulfilling their goals, and getting closer to their dreams. So that's been a real honor for me to be part of these people's journey. So not only the people in the 90-day program, but I've also been very fortunate to have a number of private students that I'm also teaching online, and again, from different parts of the world. I just absolutely love that, and I'm really grateful for that. And again, same thing with my one-on-one students. Transformation seems to be the thing that everyone's saying, and what a pleasure and what an honor that is for me. And just over a week ago, I also managed to launch my first online course, which is called the Jazz Piano Fundamentals course. And from the day of the launch, I mean, people from, again, different parts of the world are just grabbing this resource, and I'm already getting emails and comments about how people are finding all this quite eye-opening, and they're really appreciating. Some people have known the fundamentals, but they haven't really known how to use these things, or how these things are what's used to put the music together, and how these things are used to learn how to speak the language of jazz fluently. So it's been quite an honor for me to just click the switch in a lot of people's minds, and then they go, I see what this is all about. So what an honor it is. And I'm really grateful, because around this time last year, none of these things were happening. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you guys. And as we prepare to get into the holidays, I wanted to give you guys a gift, which is a song that I think really kind of puts everything together and really gets us in the festive season. And this song is the song that I played at the beginning of the video. It's called My Favorite Things. It's from The Sound of Music, but I think in jazz it was probably popularized by John Coltrane, who made phenomenal recording of this song. So I'm going to give you not just the song, but some ideas that you can play around with, and hopefully you can implement these in any other songs of your choice. Okay, so let's get into a bit of my favorite things. So maybe let's start by talking about the scale that we're going to use. So I want to play this in the key of D minor. So I'm simply going to play the white notes from D to D. So when you play the white notes one by one like this, that's what's referred to as a D Dorian mode. So D is our tonal center. We can feel that the key is D. Okay, so it's some sort of D key, and it's actually a D minor. So you can think of D minor, this is a D minor triad, and that's a D minor 7 chord. If I play the mode over this chord, you can feel that this is our home. So we're in the key of D minor. So practice, speaking of fundamentals, scales are quite a fundamental thing. So practice your D Dorian mode. So for now, I'm just doing it in 1 octave. You could do 2 if you wanted to, but I'm just going to stick to 1 for now. And the thing that you could also practice with your D Dorian is you could practice patterns. So for instance, I might say to myself, let me just go up my mode maybe in thirds. So a third simply means skip 1 key. So if I play this and I skip, that takes me there. Okay, so I'm playing from the 1st degree of the scale, right? There's a third. Here's a third from the 2nd degree. Here's a third from the 3rd degree. So if I keep playing thirds like that, okay, I can go as far as I want. So whatever. You could even come down thirds as well. So I might go. Right, I'm going to keep playing that D just so that we feel the key. So here are the thirds. Okay, so we're beginning to create patterns and some sort of melodic ideas from the D Dorian mode. I might go, maybe I'll play 3 notes up. In fact, I'll do just that. So I might go. And then I might go. Okay. So practicing like this already gives my ear some ideas, and it also trains my muscle memory so that when I sing some melodic line, my fingers are already used to practicing these types of patterns. So I had, and then just now I played. You know, I could have gone and then skipped down a third. So I've gone up 3 notes and then I skip down a third. So I might go. You know, going down, I might say. Okay, so I'm literally just creating these different ideas. I could be playing triads, so I might play. So I might go. And then I might go. Okay, and as you play these ideas, feel free to end your phrase or your exercise in any way that you want. You know, so for instance, I might say. Okay, so you can add a little something to the end of it just to break away from the monotony of a scale. So you want to transition from playing a pattern to playing a melody. Okay. So basically making up all sorts of melodies. I could have gone. Okay. So anything that I come across, I'm basically going to try and turn it into a sequence of some sort. So these are all ideas that we're going to implement in my favorite things, because one of my favorite things to do is to improvise. One of my favorite things to do is to play over the modes. So that's D Dorian and a few ideas of things that you could do. And you might be wondering, well, what's my left hand going to do? Well, one nice thing to do every now and then is to actually simply play the octave in the left hand. So here I'm playing D and D. This is something that McCoy Tyner does quite a lot, is he'll play that octave, and then that octave is usually followed by some fourths. And what I mean by fourth is, suppose I play D. If I go up a fourth from D, so this is the first note, right? So here's the second note from D, here's the third, there's the fourth. Okay, so if you're in the key of C, an easy way to see a fourth is, well, just skip 2 notes. So if I play, so there's a fourth right there. If I play another fourth from the G, skipping 2 notes, right? That now gives me that. So this is a fourth starting on D. I could play a fourth voicing starting on E. I could play a fourth starting on F. So basically I could go up the D Dorian mode in fourths. So this left hand, right? So I could go okay. So any of those chords, any of those fourth voicings will work very nicely over the D Dorian. Okay, so those are some things you could experiment with, and although I'm using this in my favorite things, you could use it in modal tunes like Impressions or So What. Okay, so you could combine these ideas. So you could play your fourth voicings in the left while playing your Dorian ideas in the right. So you could probably come up with things like so here I was just making up melodies using the D Dorian. Let me throw in some of my scale patterns and see what I can come up with. See, I've ended my pattern in that way. Here's so I could do little things like that, right? I'm just getting into the whole modal sound, the D Dorian sound. So fourth voicings in my left, D Dorian, and patterns of a D Dorian. I try not to overthink the patterns. If my fingers just land on some pattern, I will play it. And by play, I mean you just explore different ways of doing the same thing. It's just like a child being on the merry-go-round. I mean, you're not thinking about, okay, I'm going to go around 7 times. You know, you're just going there and you see, I mean, what's going to happen? Am I going to get dizzy? Am I going to fall off this thing? Am I just going to be screaming the whole way? I'm just playing around, you know. If I'm on the swing, I'm not really thinking about it. What angle am I supposed to be at? How many times, like, is my posture correct? Nah, you're not thinking about that. You're just swinging. So that's a healthy approach to improvising, so that you move away from over intellectualizing things to just playing. So there's a reason it's called playing. So like there, if you ask me to repeat that, now I'm going to have to think, hey, hang on a sec, what did I do there? Maybe I should pause the video and rewind and whatever. But if you happen to make a mistake, I mean, just play around with that mistake and see where it could go. All right, so we said Dorian, patterns from the Dorian. Another cool one is to simply use the D minor pentatonic scale. So that means from the Dorian, we're simply removing 2 notes. So these were the notes in our Dorian, right? If we remove the E and the D, sorry, the E and the B, that leaves us with the D minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so remove the E remove the B, and you've got so when you use the pentatonic scale, everything sounds really correct. So there are no wrong notes. You don't really have notes that give you tension. So everything kind of feels at home. Okay, so you could use the D minor pentatonic scale. You could also use the D Dorian. Listen to the tension this gives you. Okay, so that's also a nice sound. So we don't always want to avoid it, right? So sometimes we'll have those notes that give us the tension. Okay, and then we also want to use the notes that give us relief. You could add a blue note to that if you wanted to. So you know, that blue note really makes it sound like the blues. Okay, so feel free play with that blue note and the pentatonic scale. Okay, actually pentatonic scale plus blue note equals what's known as the blue scale. So this is the D blue scale actually. Hopefully that's a little light bulb moment for someone. Right, so now we've got quite a number of things that we could explore and play around with in the holidays. Again, I consider this fundamental information, like knowing your scales, knowing your, and by scales, I mean we've done Dorian, we've done pentatonic, we've done the blue scale. Knowing your voicings, that again is fundamental information. So you want to really just play around with these ideas. Okay, now when we're playing my favorite things, there's one little section in the song that breaks away from this D minor vamp. So and that section is a 2-5-1 progression. So if you think, okay, we've been in D minor, but what's the relative of D minor? It's F. So if you go to the key of F, the relative of D, a 2-5-1, the people in my 90-day program will be like, ah, we know exactly what he's talking about. The people who've got my jazz piano fundamentals course will be like, we know what you're talking about, man. Right, so 2-5-1 in the key of F is G minor 7 to C7 to F major 7. I actually want to play a 2-5-1-4. So 2-5-1, and then here's chord 4. And again, the people in my courses will say, hang on a second, that 2-5-1-4, is that not what we play in a song like Autumn Leaves? Da 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 da, there's 2, 5, da 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 da, there's 1, and then there's 4. And some are thinking, but wait, it's not just in Autumn Leaves, bro. It's also in Fly Me to the Moon, right? So, fly me to the 2, and then go to 5, then go to 1, and then go to 4, you know. So again, if this stuff is not really making sense, please do check out the Jazz Piano Fundamentals, because, oh my goodness, it's going to give you a very solid foundation with which to explore all these cool ideas and to really understand how songs are put together. So we're doing a very simple song, which is D minor most of the time, but there's a little bridge in which we're going to play a more traditional kind of progression. So 2, 5, 1, and then 4. And I'm using some inversions now. Again, inversions, something we cover in the Jazz Piano Fundamentals course. So, raindrops on roses and whiskers and kittens, and then here, Da dee da. There's the 2. Da dee da. 5 and 1, then 4. We're gonna go to chord 1 after that. These are chord 4 are a few of my. We're gonna play the 2-5 of chord 6. Chord 6 is D minor, right? So there's a 2-5 that takes us to chord 6. So this is the 2 of D minor 7. My favorite things. Okay, so understanding chord progressions like this is really like fundamental information, foundational information. It helps you to understand tunes, and it helps you to speak the language with fluency and to improvise with freedom. So this 2-5 is taking us to our D minor, okay, which we can consider chord 6 in the key of F, right? Or in this case, since we're playing in D minor, we can just think of it as our chord 1. Okay, so here's that bridge one more time. We said 2, then 5, then 1, and then 4, and then 1, 4, and then the 2-5 that takes you back to D minor. So this is all D minor. And now here's the bridge. Remember we said 2-5-1. 5, 1, and then 4. Then back to 1, 4, then the 2-5 that takes you back to D minor. There's my pentatonic scale, blue note, Dorian, little pattern there based on the Dorian. Okay. I mean, since I'm in the mood for giving, let me give you one more thing. This one is not just a left-hand idea, it's probably a right-hand idea too. Extending the idea of fourth voicings, we can play these voicings known as so what voicings. This is what Bill Evans played on Miles Davis's song So What. So instead of it just being a fourth, what you do is you add another fourth. So we're just stacking these fourths on top of each other. Remember we said fourth, you skip 2 white keys, right? Okay, so now that's a bigger fourth. And then after this, we're going to add, instead of a fourth, we add a third. So, in fact, you know what? I'm going to play the top 3 notes in my right hand. So watch. Now this so what voicing, I can move around the scale. Blues, right? And then when I'm improvising, I go back to my fourths over here. But if I want a bigger sound, so what? So what voicings? Okay, so feel free to play around with these ideas and see what melodic inventions you can come up with, see what harmonic inventions you can come up with here. Usually the secret to almost getting that McCoy Tyner sound is basically the things that I've mentioned here. I mean, at a foundational level. Okay, so McCoy is actually quite complex, but this is a way into that world and into that style of playing. So please try that out. And if you're really looking for an ideal gift for the holidays or for Christmas, if you're wanting to, you might even want to buy this for someone, please check out again my Jazz Piano Fundamentals course, where uh, I mean, we might not be exploring this kind of modal stuff just yet, but we go even a step below that and really focus on chords, chord progressions, very important chord progressions, such as the 2-5-1 that I explored just now, chord progressions such as the turnaround. There's all sorts of harmonic formula that we come across in jazz, and you'll find that maybe 90% of jazz standards use these formulas. So we really go deep into those in the course, and we also analyze how songs are actually put together. So that I mean, like I was explaining just now, that chord progression in My Favorite Things is also found in Autumn Leaves and in Fly Me to the Moon and in dozens of other songs. Okay, so we don't just want to be learning song by song. We actually want to know the formulas to songs and how these songs are put together, so that when we are improvising, we're not thinking about one chord after another. We are seeing chunks of information, and then we know how to speak in all these different scenarios. Okay, so please check out the course. I'm going to put a link to the course in the description, and I've also got an ebook which I'm going to attach to. In fact, I'll put the link in the description as well, which I recommend you check out, where you can get 10 steps or 10 ways to become a better jazz musician. So I've got some really good tips for you there. And I've also got some pieces of jazz vocabulary and jazz language that you can use as a way for you to get into the music. What we want now is to really just get into the music, and once we're in there, our hearing will improve, and we'll know exactly what things to work on, and that's really the best way to get closer to your goal. Okay, so hopefully I can be part of that journey with you to help you get closer to your goal. So please check out the ebook. It's absolutely free, and the link is in the description. But Jazz Piano Fundamentals, please support me by getting that course for yourself or for somebody. It's a really beautiful holiday present. And then finally, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, I'm already grateful for these 19,500. Okay, but next year we even want to go to the next level. So if you haven't subscribed, please do, and feel free to comment or ask questions in the comment section, and I'll do my best to respond. And keep practicing and enjoy the material that I gave you with My Favorite Things, and I hope to see you in the next video.